So I wanted to come and talk about something real quick. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be pissed off. They're going to, claim that I'm stepping on their toes, even though they've got 550 million and goddamn subscribers. Shit is fucking weird, bro. It's fucking weird. Oh my God, it's wow. And I am looking forward to those of you. First of all, y'all, I've got an app and I've got to tweak it because it was real easy to create it and set it up because the people that I use, they use AI and they literally just made an entire app for me. It was like, wow. So AI does have its perks, okay? But like when you click on services, it brings up some bullshit. So that's why I haven't released it yet. What I wanted to come and talk about though is this right here. Okay. I run a healing business that is based upon very ancient and old Native American practices. Okay. And while Native Americans have always had the ability to get along with Christians, there was still, unfortunately, war because there's so many people that no matter what it is, like I said, these other practitioners, they've got 950 fucking million fucking subscribers. Hey, Stefan. They've got millions of fucking subscribers. I mean, they got all this shit going on, but yet I can always see them throwing motherfucking shit at me and trying to fuck with me. So don't fucking understand that, never fucking have. My family has been threatened, my kids. I've had people doing all kind of shit, trying to fucking hunt me down and kill me. It's a lot, you know what I'm saying? And people genuinely sometimes don't understand. My practices are very eclectic. Stick with very ancient Native American practices. I do. Okay. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Oh, Stefan, it must be nice to be able to chill outside with your uncle. My uncle, unfortunately, is estranged from me right now because of racism. Anyway, racism is an evil, fucking evil demon. Evil. And I will get it off of my family. It's disgusting. It is. It's disgusting. But anyway, we'll be moving soon. Very, very, very soon. So those of you that are a part of my housewarming, which is clients that are brazening my company with your love, I appreciate you so much. And that's just gonna be nice because neither my business nor me deserves to be homeless. Like it's not about God, it's not about right. It's all about competition. And when you're healing people, you can't trip off of that. That's actually going to do the opposite of healing. It is. And so, yeah, it's like an oxymoron. Anyway, so here's the deal. If I'm going to label myself, I consider myself to be pagan. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, historically, pagans and Christians have gotten along. Christian men have married pagan women. Christian women have married pagan men. So it's not a thing. It's actually more so of a tool. The chaos and destructive energies of people trying to cause confusion and chaos amongst people is just a tool of domination, control, and to win. If they can cause division, they're going to do it because they feel like they're going to benefit from that. And I don't really believe they have been, because I feel like Spirit laid down the law and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But basically, what I did was I made sure that the never ending chaos, which it is never ending, you would think that these people were trying to recreate the universe, that of which doesn't need to be necessarily recreated. The universe is going to transmute it. Earth is going to transmute it. You know how powerful Earth is. Sorry, y'all, I'm coming in. And so pretty much what I did was, since a lot of these practitioners on here, some of them and a lot of them like to incorporate Christianity with their work, right? I personally feel like when you look at the results of it, however, it does nothing but cause a bunch of chaos, causes a lot of war, and then not only that, they're not just doing that, they're also butting into other people's business, trying to tell people how to do things, harassing and stalking, all of that jazz. They're doing the most. Added to the already chaotic war, for some reason, between Christians and pagans, which is stupid in my opinion. Technically, we all worship the same God, because I personally feel that the sun is God, but then again, so is the moon. A lot of people say, oh, no, 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 no. God is hate. God is jealousy. God is destruction and war and killing babies. Yeah, okay, fine. Okay. I'm not going to argue with anybody. So what I've done is made sure, and trust me, it's done. It's done and nobody can undo it. Okay? I've made sure that all of that chaos never touches us. That's what I've done over here at Divine Services Apothecary. I've made sure that it never touches us over here ever again. Hold on. I've done it before, but it got so bad. Listen, if you are what they call a Christian witch, that is your personal business. But you must remember that you cannot force that belief on anybody. Okay? And that's exactly what has been attempted to do, which I believe was a very big mistake. There's no need for that. In fact, Christianity has nothing to do with my healing practices. I'm trying to plug in my phone, y'all. Has absolutely nothing to do. What in the world? It has absolutely nothing to do with the other. Merging them, no. You don't have to do that. Everybody's relationship with God is a personal relationship. And I think that what ends up happening is that people want to try to take on the role of God in people's lives. And I don't believe people are God. I mean, people can be God-like my significant other. That man is a God. He is. But you can be God-like. You can be a living God, but that's not God. Okay, people are not God to me. And I think a lot of people need to start remembering that. So what I've done is made sure that all of that does not touch your work. Now, I personally, Even though a lot of people, because of money, because they have money right now, scared as fuck of their downfall, they feel that them mixing witchcraft with the Bible is the way to go. I personally, for one, feel as though that's not witchcraft, that's not healing, and that basically you're working and you're doing this stuff. So if you're in the spirit of witchcraft, then the Bible's gonna basically wipe it all out. Like you're basically saying that you want something or that you're trying to manifest something. But then again, not. It makes no sense. And because that's what religion does. It forbids witchcraft. So I really honestly don't get that. And I wouldn't be the only one. And it's a debate. I'm not debating with anybody about that. People always want something to debate about. Y'all notice that it's irritating. I don't have time for that. Everybody has a life to live. And you can't debate about it because I'm sorry, there's too many kids lost out here. There's too many there. You can't debate with me when they just found a baby dead. They done found like 29 babies dead. You can't just shut up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it about what you're talking about. Because whatever is not making the world better, to me, does not count. It doesn't. Okay? I'm sorry. So I don't want to debate about anything. We're all trying to process this pain of people. I kind of went into it. Last night in that live that I did, the last one that I did. If you didn't catch that one, make sure that y'all catch it, about how I, as an empath, which damn, is being an empath a curse? Shit. No, it's not a curse. It's a blessing. But just experiencing the news, stories that are being told of people's crimes that they've committed, and picking up on the incompetence and the hate. Nobody should be hating anybody for any reason. But they do. And you know what? If you're a witch, whether or not you tell people or not, for some reason it still comes in through spirit. Even if you never practice one ritual, those people are still going to hate you for the same reason. Or they're going to accuse you of it just because they need somebody to kill. Okay? So listen, my thing is about getting results. What is the thing that gets results? What is going to protect people from this incompetency and evil and hypocrisy? And that is what we have focused on. And that's it. Okay. So, Divine Services Apothecary is covered from that. We've been covered before because, I'll do these wards and stuff. And, my wards are extremely powerful. And, I've got one ward up there that disempowers enemies' wards, because some of your adversaries will do these wards, but they're doing them in the spirit of, you need to get the hell out of people's face because you're doing something that is this necessary? So it is what it is. Okay. For me, I Love Christians. I love everybody. I'm a Cancer. That's what we are. We love everybody and everything. Okay. So I'm an extremely loving person. If you ask me, I believe that they are wrong about when Jesus was born, because they say Jesus loved everybody too. I believe Jesus was a Cancer. Okay. you know. But anyway, we are covered and protected from all of that chaos, that confusion, that hate. It's like a smorgasbord of sickness and just no, right? No, we can't do that. We can't. Okay, and you know what? As a human race, we can't keep going like that. We can't. Either the world is going to end or we're all going to die. We can't keep going that way. And so, but I'm being sarcastic when I say that. Okay, so we don't, and I for one do not believe that Jesus is going to make a return. I think he's already done that. I think that was in another time. I do tend to look at things through the scope of my knowledge, and you can call me stupid if you want, but that was thousands of years ago, and I think that Jesus already came back. That was during that time. But, people want to argue about that. That's just my opinion. Oh, your uncle is a Cancer? That is so cool. You know what? All zodiac signs have to be very careful. Um, negativity is not good. It's not, but so I guess, um, because Cancers, those are some natural witches. Boy, I can tell you that. Ooh, they got to be, all that negativity is not good. You never know what the mind can manifest. That's why you have to be careful. That's one of the things that we've been shielding ourselves from is people that are coming from a shaman background, bloodline, cosmic. It's not just in the blood, it's your cosmic connection, shamanism, psychism, all of that. We've been protected from other people's thoughts and their, because some people, they'll get a thought in their head and it'll just play out. It'll just play out. And I'm telling you, I know how the subconscious and the mind works. And we've been protected from that because, and there are some people that they know that they have that gift and they don't care who it affects. For me, I've always been the type of person that I don't know what it is. If I saw somebody with a boo-boo or a scratch, I would always see the thing healing and it would heal. I never think, oh, that's gonna get infected. Oh my goodness. And then I start seeing gangrene and then the shit. No, my mind is always switched to that's gonna heal. It's just how I am. And I haven't deserved a lot of the shit that I've gotten, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I overstand people and their confusion and their evil. And I've had to overstand evil, right? Like it's really astounding. It's astounding. Evil is astounding and very perplexing. And that's one example, and so that's probably what makes me a healer. I've been doing that since I was a baby. Every time I see somebody hurt, if it's a broken bone, I never forget my daughter when she had her accident. They said it was going to take her 6 weeks to heal. She was healed within a week. And that was because I was already healing. Her femur bone got broken. I was already healing that femur bone. And she was up trying to walk around in her cast. I said, wow, my baby was 5 when that happened. And so, it's just the way that my mind works, especially when it comes to people that I love and care about. Now, if you're an adversary and I see you as a threat, hey, if I feel like you're going to hurt me, Like, who sits there and just lets people hurt them? Now, if a loved one is presenting themselves as an adversary, that's different. But if you somebody foreign to me and you just like, I'm gonna kill you and hurt your children and take your children and make them slaves and prostitutes and that, then I'm gonna, my mind is gonna go to instantly, this motherfucker is decaying. Let's just say that, hey, that's how I am. Because I'm very protective. I can't help who I am. And if you, but I just don't be like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just, I'm protective of good people. I'm protective of positivity. I protect positivity. That's what I protect. Negativity, that needs to be at a minimal, right? If any at all, okay? And so that, that's probably why they wanted me back on that housing and stuff. They want to give me free housing and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, give me a mansion then. Y'all give me a mansion then, that lake house that I want. Because I didn't have to worry about, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to worry about nothing. And I just manifested positivity all the time. That's just how I am. I swear I put my life on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not a negative thinking person. If I think something negative, I automatically replace it with something positive. I do. And, so it just, that's a blessing to me. I feel like that's a blessing that I'm able to do that, because some people's minds is doing something different, which is why they don't need to be out here. I guess you'd be good for casting curses, but I don't necessarily, because I mean, let me tell y'all how I feel about curses. Okay. If somebody is running behind you, shooting at you, shooting guns and knives at you, then obviously you need to curse them. But somebody that does something like, I don't know, foul, they walk away from you because it's, being with you is not in their destiny. They don't feel that it's a match. They don't feel that, you know what I'm saying, is going to be right. Or things like, oh, this person left me, well, did they leave you without nothing? Are they, what, or are they, you know what I'm saying? Like what was the situation? Like some people, they just be like, curse that person, or they see somebody that they think is pretty, curse that person. That's why a lot of my clients be beautiful as fuck. They be like, it hurts. I'll be like, I know. Shit, that shit hurts. Because people will curse you just because they're jealous of you. And I think that people need to control themselves with that shit. But it is what it is. Whatever that was happening, you know what I'm saying? We always maintained the solution. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I always look good. I know y'all like, why you ain't been on camera? Trust me, I still look the same. I still look the same. Anyway, y'all. But so yeah, we are protected from that, even if you're somebody that's Christian. Because a lot of Christians, they're not in the Bible using all kinds of herbs and oils to manifest curses for people. A lot of people that practice Christianity, they focus on the positive things about it. They strictly focus on the positive things. Not everybody is doing that, especially some of these practitioners out here. So we did the work to make sure that, and see, that's what I'm saying. When people flip out on me, it's like, I did the work just so you wouldn't do this, and you're doing it anyway, which means that this must be something that you was planning on doing to begin with. And they'll be like, oh, well, you ain't got no power. That shit don't work. Why you hate me then, number one? But no, I spent 6 hours doing that. So that work I put in, I don't take that for granted. So many people take shit for granted. I put in 6 hours of work and meditation and physical labor, and I went into a trance state to do it to make sure that you were protected. So you flipped out on me just because that was already in your heart to do that. So you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I understand that a lot of the negativity, I'm going to tell y'all something straight up and down with a lot of y'all, the negativity is being reinforced constantly, especially when it comes to spirituality. So they're constantly drilling into your head what they want you to believe. So I get that. But you know what? You know, when it comes to like your response to that, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, you know, I've had people try to drill in my head negative things about people, and it don't work on me. I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? When somebody trying to trick me into hating somebody or turning on somebody, I see past that and I don't fall for that. So why? So you know what I'm saying? But that's me. You know, I've spent years developing myself that a lot of people have not done that. So, you know, but I mean, you know, somebody say something crazy about me and the next thing you know, you sitting over there listening to frequencies trying to pray for me to die based upon a lie. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. You know, that's yeah, no. That's crazy. So of course I'm going to protect myself from that. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm going to protect my loved ones from that. If my loved ones don't want my protection, which most of my loved ones do want my protection, unless they arrogant. For me, I accept protection and love from everybody. I know, see, that's what arrogance and pride is when somebody is loving on you and protecting you and healing you, and you so fucking arrogant that you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Just admit it. You know what I'm saying? This person was, you know what I'm saying? And that, you know, that's arrogance. Now, if that's the difference between narcissism, if a narcissist helps a person, they're going to use it as a weapon against that person, and they think that they own that person. And then, you know, y'all know what narcissistic people do. If they do anything for you, they want the whole world to see you in a bad light because they couldn't control you. And they want that forever. They want that forever. If they felt that you didn't do what they wanted you to do, then they just want everybody to hate you. They want people to see you in a certain way. And that's not right for you to do that. How can you call it help? You help that person just to not help them? See, that's what I'm talking about. That's a sabotage because you had another agenda. And it makes no sense to me. It's like you put in work for nothing then. You did the work and destroyed it and threw it all away. That's what, you know, that's called a reprobate mind. You know what I'm saying? I don't do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I'm not perfect, but when it comes to stuff like that, you know, when it comes to this, even religion and spirituality, man, you got to be careful. You can't be irresponsible with God's frequency. You can't do that. And a lot of people are. And they don't know why they don't feel right in their spirit. Because they just not understanding that, once you bring God's frequency into it, that's when the game changes. Now, if you just fucking around or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you gossiping and slandering somebody and lying to somebody and doing a smear campaign, the moment you tried to bring God's frequency in that to make that stick, that's when you messed up. That's where they messing up. They don't want to admit to their faults. Okay, you're weird, you're perverted, you want people to believe this about a certain person. Okay. But the moment you started bringing in other stuff, that's where the issue was. And it always will be. Okay? Because now you you have involved things that could potentially hurt a person. Universal. Okay? That's why a lot of people that are good people that are innocent, that are being persecuted, that's the reason why they're still being persecuted. Because somebody decided, hey, with this false persecution, now I want to bring in God's frequency. That's why a lot of innocent people get hurt. Doesn't make God's frequency or God good or bad. It's just the way that it works. And you have to protect yourself from that. Okay. So yeah, but anyway, over here, we are protected from that. And these practitioners out here, I'm gonna tell you, that's a mistake. Why not just be Christian or Catholic? Why are you adding witchcraft to that? What's the purpose? I don't get it. And you know what? Maybe one day I'll bring a Christian witch on here to interview her. Who knows? Or him. I just know that for me, I've noticed nothing but problems with it. You can agree with me or not. You don't have to. I just noticed that there's a problem with that. Okay. So we definitely do have the protection from that. And, maybe depending on who you are as a client, I think I probably will. I definitely do share a lot with my clients. So you'll be able to see exactly the work that we did if you're a client, because a lot of clients, they like, I like clients that are not pressing me to see their work too, because, those are usually the best ones and they get the best results. So, but anywho, that's pretty much it, you guys. I hope y'all had a happy Thursday. I will be seeing y'all later, and I'm getting ready to get that app tweaked, because I'm so excited. I do have an app. It's so cool. And, but I gotta fix it. I can't actually share the link yet until I fix it. So, I will be seeing y'all later. Thank you so much to all of my supporters and clients. And I will be seeing y'all very soon. Okay. All right. Blessings to you guys. Bye.